Krishna. Baladev Prabhu was mentioning how Maharaj asks him, how are your parents? And then he talks about book distribution. And I was thinking, what is the connection? The connection is very clear. Baap ser to beta sawa ser. Krishna Kshetra Prabhu, he would always, even while coming from Mira Road to our temple, he would carry books. And wherever you sit in the train, he will just distribute to everyone and keep sitting. And as people would get down, either they will give their book back or give money to buy the book. This was his 365 days book distribution. जो उन्होंने बीज बोया, आज फल हम लोग को मिल रहा है. It has become their family business, as Sheshika Prabhu says. So as Adi Keshav Prabhu and Prem Leela Mataji are making their offering, I would request Madhurya Leela Mataji to kindly be around.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare.
So on this auspicious day, a very special day for all of us, I am sure many of us here, we didn't have any understanding about what is the role of a sadhu or a saint in our life. I'm sure all of you agree. We didn't know that what we are going to receive and what they are going to give us and what is our qualification. Like His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj once said, that if you know the state of your consciousness, you will fall unconscious, dead. Now what He is giving us, we don't have any understanding about. As time passes, we realize there is one person who is willing to do selfless, compassionate sacrifice, his life, his heart, his soul, his blood, his sweat, just for the welfare of everyone. So what to speak about all who are assembled here? Many of you must have never had a chance to meet him. What to speak about talking to him? But rest assured that a sadhu, a real sadhu, is the one who really cares for us. We can't compare with any type of relationship in this world what we had till now. Now we have not understood the value of what is He giving. So obviously when things are available very cheap, so we take it for granted. We don't have much value. Yes, I have given for so many years. But you see in his own life, how much he values what he has received. See the gratitude what he has for Prabhupada. It is said in Bhagavatam, there is one term comes, Prana Arpita. Now, Prana Arpita means a person who breathes in and breathes out. Now, you may wonder, how is it that? This is what I had witnessed, that whenever there is some situation about pleasing Maharaj, it is not him. He always sees whether Prabhupada will be pleased. And even if it is displeased, it is not that he is, whether Prabhupada will be displeased. So this is how he has kept his consciousness fully absorbed. Of course, recently those who were in, this was one thing which on the disappearance day, this was not expected out of the blue. There were thousands of people and Prabhupada disappearance day and Maharaj is about to sing. Now all of us, we know that Maharaj is singing, so naturally he is on live. So the camera guy came and he started focusing on Maharaj. And he said, there will be only one camera and that will be on Prabhupada. And for us, it was, Prabhupada, yes, it is there, but Maharaj is singing his live. So this is gratitude for everything. So this is how he's putting his heart and soul to push this movement. And of course, as far as love is concerned, each and every one. There are many young and many old people here. So I have something to tell for both young and old. This is what happened with me once. This is for both of them. Both of you will get inspired, those who are old and those who are young. So this was few years back, maybe more than 10 years back. So I used to like to dance. This was one of the things, I like to dance. But then one day, as time passed, I realized as Maharaj, now the way I see young people so energetic, so much power they have, when they are around, it's very difficult for me. I'm just pushed out. So I feel I am so old now. So now the answer I got it from him was the least expected one. So he said, why do you worry? Those who are young, they are very soon going to become old. And if you don't take seriously, you are very soon going to become young. Now this is how his instructions are very humorous, and he just walked away. But some things are so striking that, when he has to tell us. So anyway, as I just wanted to, before Premila has to share with her, I am amazed the way Maharaj, as a preacher, I don't know how does it touch people's heart. I don't know how he does it. Like this time during the yatra, there was one young boy sitting next to me. I said, where are you from? He said, Kanpur. I said, Kanpur and Radha Gopinath Mandir? What is the connection, बोलते हैं, महाराज से कभी मिले थे क्या? कभी मिलोगे? नहीं मालूम है मिलोगे? नहीं, वो तो मालूम है, नहीं मिल सकेगी. तो फिर क्या है ऐसा? नहीं, एक बार आए थे. तो उसके बाद मैं हर दिन उनका क्लास सुनता हूँ. Now he is not going to meet, he is not going to talk. At least we were very fortunate, but we have not understood the value. Very easily we got it, everything he gave us. So to come back to the point that if we know what is our state of consciousness, you will fall unconscious and dead. And what he is offering us, we have no idea about it. It is so valuable. So in this state, of course, several devotees spoke about pleasing, pleasing. But actually, one sense, now, how can you please him, It's something, you think you can really please him. If you think that I can please him, it's a big joke. What he has given us to, no doubt we can make an attempt. And we have an opportunity. So I'll conclude by just, of course, all of us, we are trying because that's the only way we can make progress. Just something you make and he is pleased. That's what Bhagavatam says, that, you please a devotee, then, you will overcome all your misconceptions. You'll come out of illusion. So I seek the blessings of each and everyone, because the one boy I met and several such cases which I am amazed of, that how has it touched these people that they are giving up that high-paying job, they are surrendering their life, they are trying very hard to push their mission. So seeking all your blessings, and of course on this auspicious day also seeking Maharaj that give us some strength in spite of our arrogance and weakness and false ego, and but there is still an opportunity that we also can make an attempt to please him.
Hare Krishna. I was not ready to speak, but Rohinandan Prabhu was insisting, so I'm just coming out with. I was feeling that, I don't have, he has wonderful qualities, but I said, I didn't get any much experience lately with Maharaj, But then I felt that how wrong of me to think like that, because when initial days when I came to Krishna consciousness, I remember he had guided and instructed me so much. So there's one thing which is, it has gone deep into my heart. It's like when I came to this moment, I was already married and my son was 3-year-old. And, because of Krishna consciousness, I think there is something I got very attracted. And naturally, first thing was going for Mangalarti. Okay, and my son was just 3-year-old. I was regularly taking him to temple. after a few years, maybe around 5 to 6 years, when he was hardly 8 and a half. I was enthusiastic and I think I was sincere. But Maharaj realized that something is wrong, especially because my son was getting neglected. You know, it was seen through his behavior. And I was called and I was told that Maharaj very sweetly said, "Say, Prem Leela, you had a wonderful service in the temple, but now your service has changed. You know what you were saying is changed." He said, "Okay, from tomorrow onwards, you have to stay back at home and no deity worship, no cooking in the temple. And your son is your deity. Take care of him." And I was okay till then. But after I went home, now next day morning, coming for Mangalarti and no Mangalarti, and I was bitterly crying. You know, it was, I will not say it was tears, it was blood which is oozing out and crying that how can I not go for Mangalarti? So I went next day and he was, after darshan he went to the room. I ran behind him and I said, "Maharaj, please take back your words." I said, I cannot do that. So he just was very sharp and he just looked at me and he said, "You didn't even try to follow my instruction." And that's it, he went away. And that is the last thing happened in my life, that I stopped going for Mangalarti. Fine. What is the important thing is, I want to bring up this quality of him. He sees the emergency and he gives you instruction. It may be very hurtful to you or painful to you, but deep inside, he cares for you. I remember several times begging forgiveness for giving me this. In fact, in front of Tamal Krishna Goswami, once we had a meeting, he was saying, you know, I'm a spiritual master who tells the disciple not to come to temple. And he told me, "I'm sorry, Prem Leela, for this." But then I just looked at him and I said, "Maharaj, don't say sorry. I'm so grateful to you because this happened after 10 years. I said, I'm so grateful to you. You protected my relation with my son. If you are not given this instruction, what would have happened to me?" He said, "Today I'm standing here because of his instruction. I'm just saved with my relationship." Because like Sanat Kumar Prabhu was talking, he gives so much of importance to relationship, so much important, especially mothers taking care of the children of their family. That you always make it a priority. So I just want to say that thank you, Maharaj, for protecting me and saving me from committing, you know, a big mistake in my life. And you taught me what is motherhood is all about. Thank you for being part of our life. Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Madhurya Leela Mataji, she's here. When I see her, I immediately remembered one sound rings in my ears. And that is Palika Mataji. Her earlier name was Narahari. Nara! Nara, 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 Nara. It would go throughout the LNHO compound. Wherever she is, she says, "Ai!" And she would be there. And I would think, I wish I could cry for Krishna like that. Krishna! And immediately he says, "Aa gaya." So, Madhurya Leela Mataji, as she is speaking, I request Gaurang Priya Prabhu to be around.
Hare Krishna. So my offering to Maharaj today is based on the 7.5 years of parenting experience that I've had. And as most of you here our parents here would resonate with what I'm saying. The only thing that brings happiness to the parent is that if the child listens to us. right? You can say a million instructions a million times, and then you say, are you even listening? Right? And then the child goes, yeah, I'm hearing what you're saying, I'm hearing what you're saying. But are you listening? Right? Maharaj has been, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj has been a parent to all of us for more than 3 to 4 decades. We are hearing him in meetings, in personal interactions, in group discussions, in so many various platforms. We are hearing. How many times have we heard Trinadapi Sunichena? How many times have we heard chant your rounds sincerely, attentively, every day? How many times have we heard to read Srila Prabhupada's books, associate with devotees, be non-envious, serve each other, love each other? We have been hearing, but are we listening? So, as a parent, and he's doing this single-handedly, right? Most of us are the mother and father together at home dealing with the child. He's dealing with thousands of children around the globe with different backgrounds, different cultures, trying to give the same instruction, requesting us to listen. So on this day, I humbly pray, Maharaj, that may all of us be children who are just not hearing, but who are listening to you. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Mataji was speaking with deep realization. Because I've seen her, such an amazing mother. Even in the West, when they were there, she stopped everything else exclusively to give attention to her son, and is growing up so wonderfully. Thank you. So we have reached almost like the time that we had decided to end, but we have 8 people in the list still. So I hope they'll stick to following the footsteps of Madhurya Leela, make their message very sharp and quick and clear. However, since we had informed them well in advance and they made their offerings, we thought that we should give them an opportunity to share their thoughts, and these events don't happen every day. So I hope you don't mind if the lunch is postponed a little bit, half an hour there. By the way, we just want to tell you that after the program, when you go, especially the Varishta Vaishnavas and children when they go, the back door of the temple is closed, back in the entrance. So if you have to go for prasad, only go via the front entrance. So I'm just kind of informing you for those who will be going there. So as Gaurang Priya Prabhu, is he here? Gaurang Priya Prabhu is not here? Because I've seen him. Okay. Then Sridhama Prabhu and Kishori Mataji, are they here? They can kindly come over, and I'll request Shamlal Prabhu to kindly be around. Sorry, of course, suddenly.
Hare Krishna. So it is, it's a wonderful chance to really glorify Maharaj, and I would like to specifically speak about a very important aspect of Guru Tattva. Many times we all are very, very keen, that we get personal instructions from Maharaj, personal interactions from Maharaj. But this particular incident, a particular story, or particular episode that happened, we will really give a very detailed understanding, a deeper understanding of what exactly Guru Tattva is. One is the Guru's personality, one is his as a person, but it is more important to also understand the Guru as a Tattva, as a principle. Otherwise, it can be very, very sentimental. And many times our relationship with Guru could be extremely sentimental. So this is the episode. We were in Moscow. Russia. And there's this particular devotee, a very, very famous comedian in Russia, who is a devotee, disciple of Mukunda Goswami. His name is Swasti Prabhu. And Swasti Prabhu has been initiated by Mukunda Goswami Maharaj for many, many years. But his wife was not yet sure or whom she wanted to get initiated from. She was not yet very clear, but so many spiritual masters would come to Russia, Moscow, and Swasti Prabhu said, well, maybe this person, maybe that person. He said, no, till the time I really get convinced in my heart, I will not get initiated. So there was a particular program happening of Radhanath Maharaj in Moscow, and Swasti Prabhu was parking his car with his wife. He was parking, and while he was parking, he heard the kirtan going on. Of course, she didn't know that it was Radhanath Swami. But from her heart, she said, this is my guru. Because some sort of a calling is happening, that this is my spiritual master. And of course, she went there and she met Maharaj and she said, I would like to accept you as my spiritual master. So this is the heart connect. Then after some time, Swasti Prabhu was taking his wife for the first time to Vrindavan. And she had heard that you cannot go to Vrindavan till you take permission of your guru. So she had accepted Radhanath Swami Maharaj in her heart as a spiritual master. So she was just wondering that I am not taking permission of my guru. How can I go to Vrindavan? This is the first visit to Vrindavan. So how can I go? So in his great reluctance and great sort of hesitation, she got on a flight. This was an Aeroflot flight. You all know it's a Russian Airlines, Aeroflot. She got on the flight from Moscow, coming to Delhi. And she was constantly thinking that I have not taken blessings of spiritual master. Many of us have this feeling, right? That, well, I have not met Maharaj, I have not yet taken his blessings. How can I do this? I wish I could really meet him. So she sits on the Aeroflot flight and she's feeling that I am not taking blessings. And of course, as the flight goes off, we all know there's a magazine. We all know there's a particular flight magazine in each flight. So she just opens one of the magazines. She's still feeling despondent, but she said, well, I'm with my husband, let me just go. She opens, and she doesn't take the first page, but she opens the middle page, just opens it. And to her utter surprise, in the Aeroflot magazine, which is a Russian magazine, the whole magazine is in Russian language, she opens it, and she sees in that magazine a photo of Radhanath Swami worshipping Brinda Devi. Now this was the article where they wanted to write about India and worshipping a Devi, and all the photos, hundreds and thousands of photos they could have picked up from the internet, and of some devotee worshipping some Devi, they picked up the photo of Radhanath Swami worshipping Brinda Devi at Bhaktivedanta Manor Temple. It was a very beautiful, and she was utterly surprised. I said, this is Radhanath Swami worshipping Brinda Devi. Brinda Devi is the presiding deity of Vrindavan. And here I get a permission to go to Vrindavan, sitting on an Aeroflot flight from this Russian magazine. That was a complete conviction. She got up and collected all the magazines from the flight. Because this was precious, and they showed the flight, they showed it to us. There's nothing Radhanath Swami, nothing about India, nothing about Vrindavan, just this one photo of Radhanath Swami worshipping Brinda Devi in Vrindavan. This is Guru Tattva. If you have faith that you are connection to a Guru, Guru will in different ways can give you the connection. And she will continue with another story on the same.
We were in Ukraine a few years back, and devotees were narrating a pastime. Usually, Radhanath Maharaj visits Ukraine once in 2 years or 3 years. So when he came to Ukraine that year, he planned initiations. And devotees all over Ukraine, all different cities, they had gathered in the Kyiv temple. Kyiv is the capital city and the main temple there. So devotees had gathered from all the different places, and Maharaj was going to initiate them and leave in the afternoon flight to London. But in the morning, Maharaj was not well. He had high fever. He couldn't even get up. and they needed some medicine. So because they were in Ukraine, then they called up London, Dr. Agrawal, because European medicines, which will be available in Ukraine, and they got the medicines. And Maharaj said, I don't think so I can give initiations today. So you please inform all the disciples that I'm sorry, they have come all the way, but I'm not in a position to give initiation. And everybody was doing kirtan, devotees were around. And Maharaj was supposed to leave at 4 o'clock. And 3 o'clock he calls Achyut Priya Prabhu, the regional secretary. He said, call all the devotees who have gathered, and I will initiate all of them right now in my room. I will give them their names, let them take their vows, I'll give them the beads. And usually the custom is all the devotees go to drop Maharaj at the airport, saying once we come back from the airport, you do the fire sacrifice. So he called every devotee, there were few devotees, few Matajis who had traveled all the way from Odisha. One young doctor was there from Mumbai, she also became a devotee there, and then Maharaj initiated them. And as soon as they finished, all the cars left for the airport. And this group of Matajis who came from Odisha, they traveled by a vehicle, Odisha, they traveled by a vehicle, and they thought they will go first to the airport, wait for Maharaj, and greet Maharaj there. So their car left first, and Maharaj and all left. Suddenly, near the airport, there was a lot of commotion. So they saw there was a very huge accident which had happened. And Maharaj just asked the devotee, Achyut Priya Prabhu, please stop the car here. And they stopped the car, and Maharaj just sat in the car and started praying, and he said, now you take the car. And then Maharaj reached London, and devotees came back to Kiev temple, and then they started preparing for the fire sacrifice. They had put all the mats, and suddenly they realized that the 7 mats were empty. And they realized all the Matajis who had come from Odisha, they were not there. And when they tried to find out, they understood the accident which had happened was a car of this Matajis. And one devotee Mataji, young, who just got initiated, left her body right there and then. And all other 6 were very serious. So then they informed Maharaj in London. When Maharaj reached to London, Maharaj's servant was Kanhaiya Prabhu at that time, and Kanhaiya Prabhu informed Maharaj that Maharaj such and such thing has happened, and so many devotees, they are met with an accident, and this one particular Mataji has left her body. So Maharaj removed from his pocket or whatever, I don't know, there was a sheet, and he showed all the names, and he said, who is the person who left? So they said her name is, Maharaj, you gave her the name Yamuna Viharini. And Maharaj showed that devotee that, see, when I had given some other name to this girl, but when she came in front of me, he said, I remember Prabhupada's granddaughter who just recently passed away in the floods at Mayapur. And since her name was Yamuna Viharini, I gave her the name Yamuna Viharini. And Maharaj said, he just prayed very sincerely at that time also. So we can see here the devotees who had come to get initiated, Maharaj was not well, but he still went out of his way and he initiated them. So Guru Tattva is very, very powerful, and many of us sometimes feel that we don't get to meet Maharaj directly, we don't get to speak to Maharaj directly, whether Maharaj knows what is happening in my life. And there are many incidences where we understand that yes, Guru is very powerful tattva and he definitely knows. The same year we were in Moscow, and there was a meeting of all the GBCs and the leaders of Moscow, and it included His Holiness Niranjan Maharaj, Radhanath Maharaj, and they were discussing about how to establish systems for devotee care in entire Russia. And one of the leaders, who was disciple of Mukunda Maharaj, he asked Radhanath Maharaj that, Maharaj, you have so many projects. You have school, you have hospital, you have so many centers. How do you manage single-handedly? And Maharaj brilliantly answered only in one line. He said, I do not do micromanagement. I leave up to the disciples' intelligence. And that was his genius answer, and we know that how actually Maharaj never goes into more and more details. He leaves up to us to decide and function in a cooperative way.
Speaking about devotee care, we were in Hungary, and this is the first visit in Hungary, and we finished our seminars. It was the last day. They wanted to organize sort of a last farewell type of a program. Shivram Swami, Chandramauli Swami, all the leaders were sitting, and then we were speaking about our experiences, and Shivram Swami, we all know him, is a very, very senior, important leader of ISKCON. He said that, why are you not speaking about Radhanath Swami? So I said, Maharaj, as an etiquette, we don't speak about him because, it is not something that, we have to just, I said, no. And this is very important for all of us to know. I said, Prabhupada was a multifaceted personality, he said. And Prabhupada's facet of multifaceted personality has been shown in different of his disciples. But the most important, very critically important aspect of Prabhupada, which is of care, which is of devotee care, taking care of Vaishnavas, is beautifully shining profusely in a maximum way in the personality of Radhanath Swami. So you must speak about Radhanath Swami. It is not offense. I won't be offended if you speak about him. Please speak. And he made us speak for 1 full hour about Radhanath Swami. So this is another aspect. What is Prabhupada's, Maharaj's Godmother's thinking about him when it comes to the important aspect of devotee care, which is a very, very important crux of ISKCON. One of the senior leaders, he has to say about Radhanath Swami. He is a personification, a person who has been empowered by Prabhupada to give understanding of devotee care.
Is it time or should I stop? Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Just one thing. Just one thing since we are... So this was a very interesting episode. This was in the desert country of Dubai. We were in... So this aspect shows the Maharaj's adventure aspect of Maharaj. I mean, we read the book Journey Home and you see that he went to places. So you see that is the particular adventure aspect of Maharaj's personality. So after he finished a lot of very, very heavy corporate programs, he said, I want to visit the desert. So we took him to the desert and he said, not this, I want to go to the deep desert, the real big. So it was evening time. So then, as Maharaj said, I'll select where I want to go. This was 7 o'clock, evening time, getting dark. So this is in Dubai, and he's in Saffron. So he's adding to that. And we were really worried. I don't want to explain what Dubai is all about. So we went and Maharaj said, I want to go here. We parked the car, and before we could even jump out of the car, Maharaj crossed the road. There was a wire, and there was a huge sand dune. So in the wire, I ran for Maharaj. Now here I was with Maharaj on one side and I have to sort of take care of Kishori on the other side. There was our devotee driver, just 3 of us, that's all. So I ran, Maharaj said, put the wire up. So I put the wire up and he went right inside through the wire. And please understand, this was a place where the Arabs, they drive their car, they deflate the car half and they drive on the sand in a completely crazy way. That desert driving, what happened is extremely dangerous because I could see tracks of cars going everywhere. So human being, I mean, we are not supposed to walk here. So Maharaj just went there. Before I could even tell him, he just started going. And then I got the devotees. And as I was coming inside, he already went. There were 3 mountains of sand. He went to the first mountain. And as I was running, he went to the second mountain and the third mountain. It is short of time. It is a beautiful, but we reached the top place, it was completely dark. And here I was because I felt responsible that I must sort of protect Radhanath Swami on behalf of all of us. Here I am responsible. And Maharaj, I told Maharaj, this is not a place for us to sit, this is a driving place. And from background I could hear some cars just going. I said, if something happens, and Maharaj said, now I want to sit here and meditate. So he was sitting here and meditating, and of course to follow in the footsteps, 2 of his disciples also sat down and meditated. And here I was just waiting to some car to come, and I was hoping that isn't. And then Maharaj got up, 20 minutes of meditation. It was very anxious time for me. And then I said, Maharaj, can we please go now? I mean, the car is waiting. We could see the car right down. Maharaj said, you know something? If you walk this side, few hundred kilometers, you will reach Makkah. So I tell Maharaj, in your lotus feet, Makkah, Medina, Brindavan, everything is there. Let's go. And then Maharaj came to the car, and then he said, then of course this is adventure mood. He said, I didn't tell you all, but in the evening time, in the desert, when you are walking, below the sand, all the scorpions and snakes start coming out. And I saw one of them, but I didn't tell you. So what we could really see is behind a very, very deep person is also a very adventurous person, a person who likes to take adventure and enjoy solitude. And what he said, this is the right word he uses, this is complete. He used a beautiful word. So this was another aspect of Maharaj. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare. I get a glimpse of what it means when Lord Chaitanya said, I wish I had, when he would glorify devotees, he said, I wish I had 5 mouths, 100 mouths. If time permitting, Sridhar Mahaprabhu and Kishori Mataji had 5 mouths to glorify such a wonderful, exalted personality. But what to do? Our mouths are also reserved for prasad after soon. So now as Shyamlal Prabhu is speaking, I would like to request Anand Gopi Mataji to be ready, and then Gaurang Prabhu.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Gurudev. I'll come to the point directly, short of time. I haven't had many experiences with Maharaj. Just one experience which struck me very strongly. This was December 2008. His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj was shifted from Hinduja Hospital to Bhaktivedanta Hospital. For those who do not know, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj in October 2008 suffered a very critical brainstem stroke which paralyzed him below the neck. And with a lot of effort, with a lot of devotees' prayers, he survived, and then he was shifted to Bhaktivedanta Hospital for rehabilitation. So here was His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, who is barely able to sit, and Gurudev comes to visit His Holiness Jayapataka Swami. So all his disciples and we in the hospital are arranging for the visit. We know that it is going to be an intimate meeting. And because Jayapataka Swami Maharaj couldn't sit properly, we arranged for his sitting, and we also arranged for Maharaj sitting, so that both of them can sit comfortably and then discuss, talk, whatever. So Maharaj entered the room, Gurudev entered the room, he paid his obeisances, and the sofa and everything was arranged. And as soon as he paid his obeisances, we are all standing, and he just goes and sits just below His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj's wheelchair. He just sits there. I mean, we all know how he sits in that yogic posture, back straight. And we are all surprised now. We've arranged all this. I mean, Maharaj is sitting here. And then Mahaviraj Prabhu, who was the secretary to Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, he slowly pushed a chair just to request Gurudev to sit on the chair. And Gurudev just looked at him with a smile. He says, I am most comfortable here. And for the next 20 minutes to half an hour, he held Jayapataka Swami Maharaj's hand, and they were just talking. And all this while, he was in that same yogic posture, sitting right at his feet. In the next three and a half months that Jayapataka Swami Maharaj was in Bhaktivedanta Hospital, Maharaj visited 4 to 6 times. I'm not sure, I think Achyutanand Prabhu would remember better because he was more involved. But every time he came, he would sit on the floor. He never sat on a chair, never ever. We've all heard Maharaj so many times, so many instructions coming from him. But sometimes his actions speak so strong. The respect that is due for a senior God brother. I mean, that was something that hit me so hard. This is how you're supposed to respect your senior God brothers. In my own personal life, I'll not take much time, but I've seen Maharaj's hand so strongly through his senior disciples. And all my senior disciples have spoken. Adikeshwar Prabhu just spoke that not so much of association, but for all of us, at least for people like me, I have seen in my own life how Maharaj's hand has been so strong, not directly, but indirectly through all his senior disciples. As an infant, I'm speaking before Gaurang Prabhu, not proper etiquette, but he has, with Sheshai Prabhu, my very good friend, through my infancy in Krishna consciousness, nurtured me so well, actually de-weeded all my anarthas, just removed them painstakingly. And then when it came to decision of doing what should I do, it was just a phone call from Vishnu Prabhu, and it just so deeply inspired me to take up the task working in the Bhaktivedanta Hospital. And what an array of senior disciples. Anything that you need, any problem that you face, whether it is personal, family life, whether it is career related, anything was solved. I have never felt that Gurudev is not there. He was always present in my life. And he was present through his senior disciples. And what a benediction, what a fortune, I would say, especially working in Bhaktivedanta Hospital, where every action could be an offering to Srila Gurudev directly. What a fortune that we have had working in Bhaktivedanta Hospital. But the most unfortunate thing is, I've taken all of them for granted. What to speak of offering respect, I probably have never thanked them also. And all my seniors are sitting here. But I want to tell you, Gurudev, that this is probably the greatest gift that you have given not only to your congregation, but probably to the entire world. This class of senior disciples. I would like to end with a small little example. You know, when we are working in the ICU, especially for Indian doctors working in Indian circumstances, we try to imbibe the principles led by the European and American societies. Because most of the research takes place there. Because of financial constraints, commercial constraints, we can't do much research and we cannot develop ourselves so fast. So we set the goals. We take ideals from the European societies and we set the goals. And we tell our staff, we tell our nurses, we tell our attendants, look, this is the goal. This is what we have to do for the ICU. And all of them know, and they all tell that, sir, this is not possible. Ye sambhav nahi hai. So we keep telling them, look, not only for you, but also for me, we need to keep upgrading ourselves because it is standard of care. This is something our patients deserve. We need to do it. Because in the ICU, maybe a moment of lapse could cause a life. So it is very critical. And so also is devotional life actually. Sometimes a little lapse in detail may cause a great downfall. So Gurudev, similarly, you have set the standards. Standards on how to respect seniors, on how to take care. I'm sure, and I know for sure, that it is impossible for me to reach that standard. But on this day, on behalf of my family, my very good wife, Shamli Devi, my children, I just pray that you give us the strength, the integrity and humility to just keep endeavoring. Just keep endeavoring, and keep endeavoring. Thank you, Gurudev. Thank you, everybody.
RG Media YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe.